From missing trillions that vanished overnight, to underground bunkers deeper than the public will ever know, the Pentagon hides secrets that would shake America to its core. What they don't want you to discover about Black Ops, buried reports, and the suspicious timing of the 9/11 attack could reveal the most dangerous conspiracy of our lifetime. One hidden in plain sight behind 5 concrete walls. It's one of the most secure buildings on the planet, 5 concrete sides rising from the ground like a fortress. For decades, the Pentagon has served as the nerve center of American military power. It houses over 23,000 employees in a maze of corridors. But behind its fortified walls lies a shadow history of mysteries, secrets, and unanswered questions. Tonight, we delve into the Pentagon's darkest enigmas, from hidden underground bunkers to missing trillions, from the 9/11 attack to leaked dossiers, in a search for truth that plays out like a real-life thriller. August 1943, World War II rages, and President Franklin D. Roosevelt tours a brand new military headquarters. He notices something strange. There appear to be twice as many bathrooms as necessary, he says. And he's right. The Pentagon was built with 284 restrooms, about double the required number. Why? At the time, Virginia's Jim Crow laws mandated racial segregation. That meant separate restrooms for black and white employees. Ironically, Roosevelt had banned such discrimination in federal workplaces, but the architecture was already set in stone. And then there's the shape. 5 sides. 5 floors, 5 concentric corridors per level. Originally, the site chosen for construction was surrounded by 5 roads. That's where the 5-sided design came from. Later, the location was changed, but the design remained. Some say Roosevelt personally insisted on moving the site to preserve the view of Washington from Arlington, but the 5-sided blueprint? Untouched. Construction moved fast. Workers built and occupied each wedge as they finished it. In just 2 years, the world's largest office building was complete. But the Pentagon's secrets don't end at ground level. Beneath the surface lies a hidden infrastructure known only to select insiders. The most critical of these is the National Military Command Center. It's the heart of Pentagon operations during a national crisis. Few photos of it exist. President Trump once described it as deeper underground than you can imagine. But the NMCC might not be the deepest structure planned. In the 1960s, the Pentagon proposed something even more extreme. A bunker buried over 3,000 feet underground. It was called the Deep Underground Command Center, or DUC. It was designed to survive a direct nuclear strike, built on shock-absorbing springs, with secret tunnels linking it to the White House and the Pentagon. The plan reached President Kennedy's desk, but it was never built. Officially. Still, some believe parts of the DUC project were quietly implemented. Hidden access points, reinforced vaults beneath the surface. The Pentagon doesn't comment on such claims, but classified plans from that era suggest the idea was more than science fiction, just a deeper layer of secrecy beneath the 5-sided fortress. September 11th, 2001, 9:37 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77 slams into the western wall of the Pentagon. Fire erupts. Smoke fills the halls. 125 people inside the building die instantly. 64 more perish aboard the plane. The unthinkable had happened. America's military command center was under attack. And yet the building did not collapse. The section hit had just been reinforced. Steel beams, Kevlar mesh, bomb-resistant glass. Those upgrades saved hundreds of lives. But they also gave rise to questions. Why did the plane strike the most reinforced part of the building? Why were so few high-ranking officials harmed? Some say the area was under renovation and mostly empty. Others suspect foreknowledge. And then there's the size of the impact. The hole in the wall was only about 75 feet wide. That's narrower than a 757's wingspan. Debris was scattered, but many expected to see more. No engines visible, no clear outline of a plane. This led to wild theories. Was it really a plane? Could it have been a missile? Investigations by structural engineers say otherwise. One wing hit the ground. The other disintegrated against the reinforced columns. The plane essentially liquefied on impact. Fire consumed what was left, but timing added fuel to the fire. Just one day before, Secretary Rumsfeld had made a shocking admission. The Pentagon couldn't account for $2.3 trillion in financial transactions, and the next morning, the office where analysts worked on that audit was destroyed. September 10th, 2001, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld holds a press conference. He declares that the Pentagon bureaucracy is the real adversary, and he drops a bombshell. The Pentagon cannot properly account for $2.3 trillion in spending. Decades of sloppy accounting, outdated financial systems, missing audit trails. Then, less than 24 hours later, 9/11 happens, and the very offices working on tracking the missing money are among those destroyed in the attack. A coincidence? Or something more? Investigations later showed the missing money wasn't stolen overnight. It was a result of years of bureaucratic chaos, but the optics were disastrous.
14 years later.
A Pentagon-commissioned internal study finds a way to save $125 billion by cutting waste. Bureaucratic waste, bloated contracts, redundant management. Instead of embracing the findings, Pentagon leaders bury the report. They fear budget cuts. They kill their own audit. Transparency lost to politics. Secrets have a way of escaping even the most fortified walls. Over the years, whistleblowers have exposed hidden truths inside the Pentagon, often at great personal cost. 1971, Daniel Ellsberg leaks the Pentagon Papers. Thousands of classified pages revealing government deception about the Vietnam War. The revelations shock the nation, and they permanently damage public trust in the military establishment. Fast forward to the digital age. 2010. WikiLeaks publishes hundreds of thousands of secret U.S. military reports, detailing civilian deaths, covert operations, and hidden truths about Iraq and Afghanistan. Chelsea Manning, the soldier behind the leaks, is imprisoned. Each leak tells the same story. The official version of events often hides a darker reality. 2023. Jack Teixeira, a young National Guard airman, leaks classified Pentagon documents on a gaming chat server. The leaks expose U.S. spying operations, Ukraine war strategies, and private assessments of allies. Once again, the fortress of secrets has a crack. Sometimes the greatest threat to Pentagon secrecy isn't a spy, it's a smartwatch. In 2018, researchers noticed strange patterns on a fitness tracking app. Runners' roads glowed on a global map, even in places that weren't supposed to exist, like secret U.S. bases in Syria, Afghanistan, and the Horn of Africa. Soldiers jogging with wearable trackers unintentionally revealed classified locations. The Pentagon scrambled to issue new rules. Wearables banned in deployment zones, but the internet remembers everything, and the damage was already done. In 2008, Google Maps published high-resolution satellite images of a classified base in Texas. The Pentagon protested, and Google blurred it, but other platforms had already archived the clear version. A game of digital whack-a-mole began. Blur here, erase there. But too late. Today, analysts say that blurred zones on maps often attract more attention than visible ones. If they blurred it, it must be important. In trying to hide secrets, the Pentagon sometimes reveals them. War isn't cheap, but sometimes the waste is staggering. Between 2002 and 2017, the U.S. government spent billions rebuilding Afghanistan. Much of that money flowed through Pentagon-controlled programs. Schools that were never opened, power plants that never generated electricity, police academies that trained no officers, transportation fleets that rusted into scrap. A single program spent $496 million on planes that were later scrapped for pennies. Another wasted $28 million on camouflage uniforms unsuitable for Afghanistan's environment. Inspectors General reports document it all. Cold, brutal accounting. Yet accountability remains elusive. Pentagon contracts are often opaque. Oversight is weak. Billions slip through the cracks every year. In a way, the Pentagon itself is a shadow economy, vast, powerful, and largely beyond public scrutiny. The Pentagon was designed to project strength, but it also projects something else: secrecy. Secrets of war plans and classified missions, secrets of wasted fortunes and buried reports. Secrets written not just in concrete, but in silence. For every leak we know about, 100 others remain hidden. For every mystery solved, new questions arise. Somewhere inside those endless corridors, locked behind blast-proof doors, are truths we may never hear. Perhaps some secrets are necessary. National security demands discretion. But when secrecy becomes a way of life, who truly benefits? What other secrets lie hidden behind the Pentagon's walls? And if the walls could speak, would we dare to listen?